There is absolutely no doubt in my mind now, ladies and gentlemen, that this beloved island of ours is being humiliated on the world stage by douchebags who have less honour, patriotism and loyalty than Benedict Arnold. And it's not just the government, folks, it really isn't. It's the opposition, the Tories, even some of Reform. And I'm sad to say that because I'm a card-carrying Reform member. And even our king, that utter useless fop who currently sits on the throne, is useless, let's face it. And what are these people doing? They're selling us down the river, big time. I'm still miffed why the country hasn't enough money to give the pensioners their winter fuel allowance and all the other things that Keir Starmer promised to fund once he became Prime Minister, only for him to then say, well, there isn't enough money, there's a £22 billion black hole. And then there's seemingly a bottomless pit of money for Zelensky to fund this Ukraine insanity. And not only that, but now, remember the Chagos Island deal? Well, that's being sent to Mauritius for approval today. Now, this is going to cost us, the taxpayer, £90 million every year for 99 years, with loads being paid up front. So basically, we're paying Mauritius, in the pockets of China, £90 million a year to surrender our own territory. It's ours. The Chagos Islands have always been British, and we're being humiliated. We're being ritually humiliated by Starmer. I mean, so there's £90 million every year for 99 years. There's, what was it, 3.6 billion every year for 100 years to the Ukraine. Where's all this money coming from? I'll tell you where it's coming from. Us. We're being fleeced. Keir Starmer and Labour are rinsing the British public, the hard-working men and women, by raising the cost of everything to pay for all this. It is your typical, brutal, uncaring, unkind, unpatriotic socialist government, folks. There's a long list of utter betrayal by Keir Starmer, and I'm going to read you some of them. This is just some of them, and yes, it is from the internet, but it's all true. But under Keir Starmer, for the past 8 or 9 months, we've had a refusal on a grooming gang inquiry. Stabbings have gone up. They are reviewing blasphemy laws to appease Muslims. They've banned parents from seeing the curriculum which they're teaching our kids. You've got the highest government borrowing in 34 years. Rachel Thieves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, turns out to be very unqualified. They lied to the WASPy women. There's the inheritance tax on farmers. You've got Lord Ali funding Keir Starmer's lavish lifestyle and his wife being investigated. The party itself has been investigated by the Electoral Commission. Labour want misogyny to be classed as terrorism. They revoked the land wind farm ban, which is costing taxpayers hundreds of millions of pounds just to be maintained because they're not working. The guy didn't change his special pension, which goes untaxed. This is Keir Starmer himself. We've got the largest number of illegal migrants ever and counting. Keir Starmer and Labour have given £50 million of our money to Syrian militants, well, terrorists. You've got the free plasticide marches in London. They're increasingly getting out of control. They've stopped oil and gas licences, therefore reducing jobs. The VAT on private schools backfired. They've given £500 million of our money to foreign farmers, while giving our farmers a kick in the bollocks. We've got the highest paid tax in 70 years, highest electricity in the world. There's the fake 22 billion black hole. They gave an inflation-busting 22% pay rise for doctors, 15% pay rise for train drivers who still want to strike. They raised national insurance taxes for businesses. They've spent $3.5 billion on consultants. There's the two-tier policing at protests and riots. There is the infamous crackdown on free speech. No deportations for foreign criminals. They let prisoners out early. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gents. And less than a year into Keir Starmer being Prime Minister and Labour being in government. And there's much more to come, unfortunately. We're going to be in a war. Our kids are all going to get conscripted to go and die for Zelensky. And for some reason, they're blaming Trump for everything. So, welcome to 2025, Britain under an insane Labour socialist government. And we're being humiliated. It's not a nice place to live. Nothing works. Everywhere's closing down. We're being invaded on the south coast on a daily basis. So what the hell do we do? Where do we go when this island finally gets taken over or goes under, what happens to us? I'll tell you what, we'll all be locked up in Starmer's gulags for wrongthink or something daft like that. All the good people are getting jailed and prosecuted, and the villains, the criminals, they're being let out of prison early. And that's the state of Britain, ladies and gents. Isn't it humiliating? This country desperately needs a Trump-like figure to drag this sorry country back to where it belongs and give it the respect it deserves. It really does. I'd do it. I really would. If I had the brains and the money, I'd definitely do it. But sadly, I don't. It's like, what do those monks do? The self-flagellation. It's that, but on a grander scale. Sadly, that's how I see it. I just wish I had the brains to do more than be a YouTuber. Really, I really do. Anyway, there we go. I'm Paz49. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, Roger Trout.